Hello everyone and welcome to the Vintage Needlecrafter. My name is Laura. Welcome back returning subscribers and welcome new viewers. This is my little corner where I love to sit down and discuss all things knit and crochet. And today I am going to show you how to make this beautiful shawl here. I know you can't see the whole entire piece on the screen because I have the camera pointed down low, but you can see some of the beautiful lace design that's in this. And this is very, very simple to make, and I'm going to show you step by step how to do that. Now, as you know, if you're a longtime viewer, you know that my tutorials are sort of laid back, and I just have fun with it, and it's like sitting down and crocheting with you and showing you the stitches and how I make it. So for this sample here, move these out of the way. For this sample here, I used Drops Nord in 3 different shades. And it was a very lightweight, wool, alpaca, and polyamide blend. And I used a 5mm hook. Now, this tutorial, you can use any weight of yarn, any yarn fiber that you want, any hook size that you want, because it's all going to be making the same thing or into a shawl. And you can make the shawl, you keep going for your size, the more rows you put on, like keep going and going here, well, the larger it's going to get for your size. So this turned out quite nice with Drops Nord. It's a nice light piece, but you can use whatever you want. For the tutorial today, I am going to be demonstrating these stitches using this Karen Jumbo Ombre yarn in a 4-weight acrylic, and I'm going to be using a J hook, which is a 6mm crochet hook. I always like to go by this rule. Whatever the yarn recommends, I like to go up at least a half size to 1 size larger for the yarn. And this yarn here requires a 5mm, as you can see here, and I'm going to use the 6mm. So let's begin. I will try to remember also to keep my hands in the frame. I'm going to check. And I just dropped my camera. I apologize. Okay. I'm just going to remember to try to keep my hands in the frame. I'm getting better at these tutorials as time goes on. So, all right. We're going to start out by just grabbing our yarn here and making a slip knot. I like to just take my yarn over my finger, cross it over, and bring it through like this. But you do however you like to do for your slip knot. Put that on there, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to slip stitch into the first chain right here by taking our hook and going in there, bringing the yarn over the hook, pulling it through the first loop and the second loop, and that's a slip stitch. Now I like to flip the tail over so it's kind of out of my way. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do 2 double crochet into this ring right here. 1 and 2. Just like that. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 3 more double crochet into this ring. And this is the beginning of our shawl. This is going to be the center point right here at the chain 2 space. So we got 1, we need 2 more. 2 and 3. There. Now we can pull that a little bit snugly, and that's our beginning of our little shawl. Now, for this next, we're going to chain 3, This is going to count as a stitch here and throughout. We're going to put a double crochet into the same stitch right here at the end. Now we're going to do what we call the granny stitch. So we're going to be skipping over these two. We're not going to be chaining anything here. And we're going to do a double crochet in the center part and another double crochet. There'll be 3 all together. That's called a granny cluster and will be called a granny cluster from here on out. Now we're going to chain 2 and we're going to do another granny cluster in that space right up at top, which is 3 double crochet. Now we're going to be, like we did over here, we're going to be skipping these 2 double crochet and we're going to put 2 double crochet into the last stitch, like so. And now it's looking like this. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get some yarn here. And we're going to do a double crochet again in the same stitch. And now we're going to skip to this space right here. And we're going to put a granny cluster in that space, which is 3 double crochet. Whoops. 2. There's 3. Now we're going to skip these and we're going to do a granny cluster at the top center because we're getting to the very top. Now we're going to chain 2. This is the point. Now we're going to do another granny cluster in the same space. Going to skip this granny cluster and go over to the next and do our granny cluster. 2, 3. And now we're going to put 2 double crochet in the last stitch. So there we go. Now we have our little pointed shawl here. We have 1, 2, 3 rows. And now we're going to do 1 more row of this and then we're going to switch the pattern. So chain 3, turn, 1 double crochet in the same stitch. Get more yarn here. Now we're going to, you got to look at this now because you don't want to be missing this right here. So we're going to put a granny cluster here, that first space. Then we're going to skip this, go to the next space, granny cluster, just 3 double crochet. Now skipping this and we're getting to our point. If you want to put a stitch marker at the top of your point, you may go ahead and do that if it helps you visually. 3, and then we're going to chain 2. That's the top point, and 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to skip this, granny cluster in the next space. Whoops. I like it when my yarn gets to where I can just keep crocheting without having to pull a long strand. It's not there yet. It's pretty tight. And we're getting into the next color. Sometimes this yarn here will be nice and I'll get a stripe of color per row. That's always nice. Sometimes not. If you prefer that, you can cut it and trim it like here. There's pink and then it goes to the purple. What you could do is back this last stitch up and you could cut it and then attach the purple and it will make you the next row of a different color. But that's up to you. I'm not going to do that. I'm just here to show you the stitch tutorial for this today. Okay, so there we have our grannies complete. Now we're going to chain 3 and this is going to be an all double crochet row. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first stitch because that's our increase. Now just go along down the line doing double crochets all the way down to the center points. Working our way down. Oops, I'm trying to keep my hands where they need to be. I apologize if they go off a little bit. It's a challenge to watch the screen plus concentrate on what you're doing and all that. Now, okay, when you get to the center point, we're going to do, we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochet. I was trying to think if it was 2 or 3. Only 3 if you're on the granny row, the granny cluster row. So there's a point. Now keep going down, 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 down the row. See how that purple came on like right at the next? I like that about this yarn. And this, again, by the way, is Yarnspirations Jumbo Ombre. And what colorway was this? Oh, Blossom Flower. Blossom Flower. F-L-O-R. Flower. Down south we say flower. All right, at the end, now we're going to put 2 double crochet at the end. Sometimes it's kind of hard to wiggle that crochet in there. Okay, done. Now, the next one's easy. We're going to do double crochets again, but this time we're going to put it in the back loop only. So, chain 3. Now, for your first one, you look at the stitch. Do you see this back right here? This one in the back? That's where we're going to be working in from here on down the whole row. So, yarn over, do your double crochet in that back loop only. And now we're going to find the back loop for each one. You could see it there. Yeah, sometimes you got to kind of turn it towards you. This gives a little ridge design and will make it look polished, professional, and kind of fancy. Although we're not doing nothing fancy, we're just crocheting in the back loop. So we're going to do this all the way down till we get to the point. If I go too fast and you want to pause, go ahead. You can also slow me down. It's a little bit different when we get down to the point, and I'll show you here. Okay, I've reached it. So what we're going to do, continue. We don't want to go in here because that's going to mess it up, okay? We want to look for the back loops. We're going to put 2 double crochet in this one right here. Because this is our point. 1, 2. Now we're going to chain 2. And we're going to skip over to this guy right here, who is next to it. And that's where we're going to be working. 2 double crochet in there. This makes our point. I'm a little bit stuffed up today. All right, and now just keep going on down the line, double crocheting down the row. So this is fun. As the rows get longer, I'll need to pause. But for right now, we're just going to crochet together. Yep. If you're slower than I am, that's all right. I've been crocheting only since I was 13 years old, so over time you get faster. And I crochet with my right hand, yarn in the left. All right, when you get down to here now, look for that back loop. Just like that. And then the last stitch you can go ahead and put regularly, like we did over here. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Looking pretty good, I would say. So that's the hard row. That was it. That's the hard row. Now, for the next part of the pattern, chain 3, turn, chain 1 more. I should have told you chain 4. My apologies. Now we're going to do some V-stitches. So we're going to do a double crochet in the first stitch. That counts as the first V. Now we're going to skip only 1 in the beginning, just 1. We're going to put a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch. That's a V. Now we're going to be skipping 2. So skip 2, do a V-stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2, next is a V. We're just going to be repeating this on down to the front, to the point, skip 2, V-stitch in the next. This is so simple. Skip 2, V in the next. Now we're at the point, we're skipping 2 right here. So let's put a V-stitch in the point. Chain 2. We're going to put another V-stitch in the point. So double crochet, oops, chain 1, double crochet. So you'll have two V-stitches in that point. So now skip 2, V-stitch again, skip 2, V-stitch again, skip 2, V-stitch again, on down till we get to the end here. Now remember, at the end, like we did over here, we only skipped the 1, so skip the last 2, put a V-stitch in there, you'll have 1 here. We're not going to do anything with that. We're going to do a V-stitch in the very last, very last over here. Very last stitch gets a V. All right, so there that is. Now, chain 3, and this is how we're going to repeat it. Now, the trick with this is, because this is going to be your right side. See your ridge here? You want that facing right side up. So if you want to put a stitch marker there to remind you that's the right side, that's fine. Otherwise, just know that the ridge here is the right side. So that means when we're doing our V-stitch rows, we need to have an even number. Let me refer you to this example here. Okay, as you can see here, from the beginning here, there's that ridge. And then here I done, let's see. Oh, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you don't have to do 6. I'm just going to do 4, and then I'm going to repeat. So this is going to be it. This is the pattern, and I'm going to go take you through this next part, and then we're just going to be repeating what we done in the beginning. All right, so we're going to chain 4. We're going to put a V-stitch in the V. And we're going to skip to the next V. We're going to put a V-stitch in that V. This is all we're going to be doing for this row. V-stitching on top of the V-stitches. Just like so. Oops. V-stitching in the V-stitches. On down. By the way, 1 skein of that there almost will make you a shawl if you're small. If you're a very large woman, I would say 1.5 of those skeins will make a shawl. Probably 2 if you want fringe. Okay, now we're at the center point. We're going to do 2 V-stitches in there. V-stitch, chain 2, V-stitch. Now just follow the V-stitches down. Oops. So I think I'm going to pause. Okay. I think we are recording again, yes. We're almost down here. You know, it's really gotten quite warm here today. And I am sitting at my kitchen table making this tutorial for you. And I had the air on, but I had to turn it off. I can tell now I'm heating up. Okay, when you get to the last V, just go ahead and do a V in there. Because we're not increasing this row, but we're going to need to increase the next row. So every other row on this, you're going to increase on the end. So 2, no, this is the third time. Okay, 3, 4. This is going to be our increase. And to increase, look where your bottom chain is here. You got your 4 chains. So do a double crochet right in that right there, that first stitch. Okay, now go to your V, which is right next to it, and do a V stitch in there. You see, now you've made 1 increase. Now just go on down, do your V stitches, all the way down till you get to your center point. And once we are at our center point, we're just going to do 2 V stitches up there. Do the V stitch. Oops, don't forget to chain 2 after the first V stitch. Always, always, always going to chain 2. And do another V stitch in there. And then we're going to go on down, putting the V stitches into the V stitches. Now I'll meet you down at the end. Okay, we're down here. So what we're going to do, like we did in the beginning of the row, we're going to put a V stitch in this V. It's a V space here. Oops. Kind of scoot it over a little bit if we can, because we're going to do another V stitch right at the top of this chain here. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get in there. And there we go. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 rows of V-stitch. We need 1 more row of V-stitch, and then we're going to switch the pattern up again. So we're not going to increase this time. We're going to chain 4. We're going to put a V-stitch in every V-stitch. Now look where you started. That was your increase, so that one goes there. Okay, now the next one here. On down till you get to your center point. All right, well, here we are. This pattern works up very quickly. You can see how quite large this has gotten without just a few rows. So these are very fast to work up. They make great gifts. Especially if you have a wedding shower, it's a nice gift. Birthdays, any kind of occasion, really. All right, now done my 2 V's in the center, chained my 2. Now it's just going to go all the way down the row with the V's. This is row 4. So I'm just going to stay with you while I do this row. Now we're getting into the pink in this yarn, I can see. Oh, do I have enough purple to make it down the row? I crochet quite loosely, just to let you know, ladies. If you were a tighter crocheter, you'd probably might get your, I think I'm going to get in the pink before I get to the end. Maybe. It's fun to watch these colors change. Oh, if I tighten it down, my tension, I might try that. A little tighter. Better pay attention to my V's here. I don't want to mess my pattern up. All right, we're at the end, so I'm looking here. Okay, right here. Right there's the last V. Oh, and we made it with the purple. Yay! Now what I could do if I wanted to color play this is I could pull this out. There's a little bit of purple, but just not enough for another row because it's getting into the pink, as you can see there. I could cut that and just put on the pink, but I'm just going to go as the yarn is going to take me. All right, so for this next row, we're going to repeat what we've done right here. We're going to double crochet all the way down. We're going to chain 3 and turn. We're going to put an extra crochet, double crochet right there. And then we're just going to go down. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it in the V-stitches so you don't get your counts off. All right, we're going to put 1 in the center of the V, just like that. Now we're going to put 1 on this leg of the V. The V has 2 legs, okay? A leg here and a leg here, and then you got your center. So it's going to be like this. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3. Okay. We have the right leg. We're going to put a double crochet in there. We have the center space, double crochet in there. Then the left leg, double crochet in there. And that's it all the way down. Okay, in the space, we're on the left. So you could kind of think of it as going right, center, left, if that helps. Right, center, left. Okay, keep working that and I'll meet you down at the point. Okay, last V. Right, center, left. Now when you get up here, we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So just continue this on down the double crochet the way I showed you, with right, center, left, all the way down, and then we're going to put 2 at the end down here. Okay, almost there. Right, center, that's our last stitch there. Left, well, there is no left, we just got to go in the last stitch. And then we're going to do a second stitch in there like that. Okay, so that's the repeat. Now for the next row, what you're going to do, you flip it over, as you can see, you're going to be working in the back loops only, and you're going to be repeating this pattern. If you desire not to have the grannies in there, you may just do the V stitches and the 2 double crochet rows. That looks very nice too. Just remember, like I said before, make sure these are even rows. So you can go 4. I wouldn't go 2. I would go at least 4. You can go 4, 6, 8, 10, however many you want it. Just make sure it's even number, or if it's not, this ridge here is going to end up on the wrong side and it'll mess you all up. So just remember that. Even here. So once again, this is how it's going to be looking. Like I said here, I put 6, and I did put granny rows in between this one, but you don't have to do that. If you prefer the look of just the V-stitch with the ridge, go ahead. So that's the tutorial. That's the stitch pattern. I hope you were able to understand that. And I sure had fun making this for you. This is getting almost 30 minutes long, so I need to stop here. And yeah, just remember again to whatever the yarn calls for, go up at least a hook size, at least half a hook size. I would go at least a hook bigger. You could go 2 hooks bigger. It'll give you better drape and will open up the stitches more, especially if you're using a thicker acrylic yarn. But that's everything. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you back again on the next podcast. Bye, friends.